Around the Ozarks is now on your FM radio. Listen to Around the Ozarks mornings with Grace Gooley as I spotlight local people, stories, and podcasts, all while playing the country legends of the 90s and the hit makers of the 2000s. It's on the Ozarks' best country, 105.1 The Bull. It's time for Around the Ozarks sports scene, brought to you by Colton Steakhouse, Thompson Sales, and Deadeye Gun and Pawn in Sparta. Here's your host, Scott Purrier.
Welcome in to another edition of Around the Ozarks Sports Scene. I am Scott Purrier. As always, big thank you to you, the viewer and listener, for tuning in as we talk sports in the Ozarks and beyond. And today we're going to talk some Kickapoo Lady Chief basketball. One of our favorites, the third-year coach of the Lady Chiefs, Leslie Hanchey, joins us. Coach Hanchey, thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks, and thanks for having me on.
You betcha. We're taping this on Tuesday of this week, which is the day after Nixa scared the absolute heck out of the Lady Chiefs last night at Kickapoo. Kickapoo wins 63-61 to move to 19-0 on the season. And that's a Nixa team that Jenny Talbert's got playing really well right now, are they not?
Yeah, they've won, I think, before coming to us last night, they'd won, I think, 7 in a row, 6 or 7, and she's got them playing really well, and they're big. They're hard to pass around. She had a great game plan against us. It really felt like a postseason district type atmosphere last night. It was awesome.
When is your seating meeting for districts?
It's the 20th, I believe. When the girls go to Republic.
Okay, so a couple more weeks, and I'm sure last night was big in the establishing the hierarchy of the seedings and stuff, because that's your only head-to-head meeting
Correct.
this year, right?
Correct.
Yeah, does it look like it's Kickapoo 1, Nixa 2, or is there somebody else?
We still got Republic, and Republic is also playing extremely well this season. So we play them on Monday, so that will be a test. Now Republic and Nixa have already played, and Republic beat them. I think it was about 2 weeks ago that they played. So
Okay.
Depending on how our game goes on Monday will depend on who gets the number 1 overall seed.
Okay, awesome. And of course, 19-0 now, ranked number 2 in the state. In Class 6, that little team called Incarnate Word at number 1 that beat you in the state championship game 2 years ago, won it again last year, and Incarnate Word. They're Incarnate Word. What do you know much about them this year, or are you just kind of like, I'll worry about them when we get down to that point?
I mean, we always keep an eye on everything that they're doing. I mean, I think they've now won it 8 years in a row, 7 years in a row. I'm not 100% sure, but they're still loaded as always. They've got that big post player is she going to Missouri State, I believe? Isn't there one coming down here? Yeah. I mean, they just reload every single year. They're playing Stratford this Friday. Stratford picked them up because everybody needed a game after that. All that snow that we got, had to pick up some games. So they're meeting them in Rolla Friday night to play. So I can't decide if I'm going to go. I'll for sure be watching it. But that will be a good game for both teams.
Good scouting opportunity. And you're pretty good if you're Stratford, if you're picking up the phone and calling Incarnate Word for a game, right?
Dustin had texted me and he's like, I'm thinking about doing it. And I was like, do it. And I said, make them come to you. And so I think they got it to compromise to be in Rolla. And yeah, it just speaks volumes for what he's done. They're so good and they're well coached. And I'm always hoping for somebody to knock them off. So I'm always going to be rooting for the underdog. So go Stratford.
Absolutely. And 19-0 last night, again, 63-61 comes down to, really a Josie Salazar defensive play in the final 5 or 6 seconds there. She gets a hand on a pass and the ball bounces around loose and she went down, didn't she, on that play a little bit?
She went down. Okay? She's got a bone bruise on her knee. Went and saw her trainer today. Luckily, structurally, everything's fine. Just going to be real sore and real tender for the next few days. So we'll just kind of take it day by day. But when we needed it, it's always going to be Josie that's going to get us what we need.
How – I know that you don't love all the games being that close and stuff. You like the runaways sometimes, but was that maybe a good thing for your team to have happen last night and get maybe attention getter right before a district start?
Yes, we've been talking for the past, I want to say probably 2 or 3 weeks, just trying to get our girls to understand that like now is not the time to put it in cruise control, because the month of January drags for so long that you can kind of get in a rut when it comes to games. And then February rolls around and then all of a sudden you've got 2 or 3 weeks of your regular season, and then it's postseason play. And if you start putting in cruise control, teams are going to get you when you aren't expecting it. So we needed a good game. We needed to know that we could grind one out even when we weren't playing well. I don't think we played to our 100% best that we could. So we have lots of room to improve for these next few weeks. Got a long list that I made this morning of things to work on. But yeah, that we need close games like this to kind of help us figure out what we need to continue to work on for postseason play.
And that's the way you kind of scheduled this year too, wasn't it? With that in mind, because I mean, like I said, you've gone to the Final Four the last 2 years, came up short against Incarnate Word 2 years ago. Staley gets you in the semis, but you bounce back with a win in the third place game. You schedule now to prepare for what can happen in Columbia later. And, you play Stratford. It's a 3-point game. That's got to help. You win the pink and white again. You play a couple Kansas City teams, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Pittsburgh where you met them? Or
Yep, we played Olathe North, and they've got a girl that's going to Florida State that was probably the best point guard I've seen in a really long time. And that was a really good game. We were up by 4 with 8 seconds left, and they got a 3 off at the end to make it be a 1-point game, and then played Blue Valley Northwest. They gave us a really good game as well. I think we ended up winning by about 4 against them. So 2 back-to-back close games where we had to kind of figure some stuff out on the fly was good for us.
Absolutely. Get you ready for what's coming up down the stretch and the pressure cooker. But you got 9 players back from last year, I think 5 seniors. This is a team that's battle tested. Is it just that occasional reminder that, this is the end? And I guess with seniors, that's even better. I mean, you had a bona fide star last year, Michaela Pilley, who's, I believe, Fort Hays State, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. And
them right now playing really well.
She was your rock last year. Well, you've replaced the rock with a bunch of them now. I mean, yes. Josie is the ringleader, but kind of talk about, I guess, reforming your team after Pilley's graduation.
Yeah, so we knew that graduating that group of seniors, they were really good with being vocal leaders in terms of making sure that everybody knew what we were in all the time, knowing like the standards of the program. And so we knew that finding a vocal leader for this year was going to be imperative. It's not natural for Josie. Josie would rather lead by just example. She's just that type of kid. She doesn't want the spotlight on her. She doesn't want to have to talk a whole lot. So we've been pleading and trying to pull that out of her all season. But we've also had a transfer in from Link Academy. Her name's Anaya Perry that we've also leaned on because all the kids, she's kind of like the glue for us. They all like gravitate to her because she's big personality and she's a competitive player. So she's kind of stepped into that role, her and Josie, of being the two that kind of are vocal leaders and helping everybody know where they need to be. And then Lexi Ringgold has really stepped up this year. We got her from Nixa 2 years ago, and she's really improved her game all around and vocally has helped us as well. So when we got kids that have the experience like we've had these past few years of how far we've been able to go to help these new ones that haven't really experienced it yet, I'm hoping that kind of helps pay and dividends towards the end of the season when we get going in postseason.
Josie Salazar gets her 1,000th career point in that game last night as well. Congrats to her. She's headed to Drury to be a Lady Panther, correct?
She'll do great.
And in this current environment, it's kind of wacky and really it's unfair to, high school kids now with the recruiting process, the way that it's going with the transfer portal and coaches kind of waiting to see what's available there. You got a pretty good one when somebody comes and signs them early now, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were coming to our practices, right? I mean, when she was a sophomore, basically, They knew that that's who they wanted, and I kudos to them because she's one of those kids that she wants that relationship. She wants to be able to trust whoever she's going to go play for, and they've really done a great job of building that relationship with her. And I think she's going to do great for them. The whole portal thing, like you were saying, like Michaela Pilley, she didn't get a whole lot of looks. Yeah. And for the type of player that she is and what she can do, she kind of I'm glad that she found her landing spot, but like that was a struggle for her, just seeing how many kids, they're just not recruiting freshmen like they used to. It's it's so crazy.
Well, and I guess on the flip side, the good thing for Michaela is if you go to Fort Hays and you shine, you got a chance to go to maybe one of the schools that maybe would have recruited you in the first place, if they weren't holding back. So it's a messed up scenario, but it's what we have now. It's all we have.
Yeah, I saw your tweet last night about a guy getting his 9th season playing. Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And I said on the radio this morning, Oklahoma's football's got a guy that played 3 lacrosse games at Ohio State, a total of 15 minutes his freshman year. He's a Tulsa kid, came back home to play football at OU. He's turned out to be really good. They're denying him a 4th year of eligibility because of those lacrosse games. So got football guys playing 9 years, but yeah, so it's a mess. But what's not a mess is what Leslie Hanchey has done as a head coach. 77-6 in 3 years, including that 19-0 this year. This whole head coaching thing's easy. You just go to your alma mater, you wait 15 years for the job, and then you just kind of start acting like Stephanie Phillips and Sue Schubel and Jim Pendergrass and all of them, right?
Yeah, just you make it sound so easy. You forget all the hours of sleep that I didn't realize. I even, Jim came to our game last night, and he came into the locker room afterwards, and he just gave me this look, and he's like, I liked being on the other side of that tonight. I didn't have to worry about and stress as much as you guys have been, but this is the dream job for me. I mean, I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to go anywhere else. It's always been Kickapoo.
All those years, the 15 years, JV coach, associate head coach later, you had to have overtures, people saying, hey, come coach us. And was it hard, or were you just, I'm going to be patient, I'm going to wait till my time comes?
I really just didn't ever want to go. This was no question. I mean, I had a couple of different schools reach out, and I had, some other coaches reach out as well as asking. And I love this area. I'm a Kickapoo girl through and through. It really wasn't ever a question. This is it for me. This is the dream job for me. And this is the top of the mountain.
Well, let's talk about, your path to coaching.
Sure.
Played for the Lady Chiefs, all under Coach Stephanie Phillips, correct?
Correct. I was her first full class that she had.
Yeah, and then Schubel preceded Coach Phillips, the late Coach Phillips, and Schubel just a phenomenal career herself. I guess you look at this program dating back to the early '80s, even maybe late '70s. The bar of expectation has never moved. It's always been. It's Kickapoo Lady Chiefs basketball. This is what you do, and you go out and win. You look at the great teams that Schubel had, and you guys just carried that on.
And Schubel even came to the game last night, and so I have a good personal relationship with her. And and I went to camps when I was a kid when she was the coach, and it was her and Susan Broughton and Debbie Downs running the show. I remember going to camps there and wanting to play for her because I saw how much fun everybody had when they were around her. And then when she retired my 8th grade year. And then knowing that Coach Phillips was Thurman at the time, was the one that was coming in, at the excitement around that, because she had this, huge career as a Lady Bear around here. She, went to SBU. So just being around those greats and learning from them, the funness from Schubel, and then the expectations and the discipline with Schubel or with Phillips was kind of like a perfect mix.
You watch that growing up with Schubel, and do you ever catch yourself looking down at the floor and seeing, what is it, Phillips, Schubel, green court or whatever, as a reminder of where you are and what the expectation is?
Every day. And then, I have been fortunate enough that I've stayed in touch with Coach Phillips' boys, Drew and Levi. My daughter's babysitter is Drew's girlfriend. So Drew is over here at our house all the time helping babysit my kids. So it's like a full circle moment type deal where I used to babysit the boys, and now he's over here babysitting my kids, and just staying in touch with them and seeing them grow up has been really, really special, because in a way that, just kind of keeps them close and keeps her close as well. Cause she's all over the gym. And so just, it's really special.
Now take me, because I'm trying to remember the years and how it broke down, but you and Heather Ezell, same class?
Yep. So I graduated with Greta Wiersch, who went on to play at Drury.
Yeah.
Heather Ezell, who went on to play at Iowa State, and then me.
And then Molly was
a year older. So it was Molly Carter, Kaylee York, who went on to play volleyball and basketball at Drury, and then Holly Wade, who went on to play at Central Methodist. So we had a lot of
back when she played, right? I think. Yeah. And then Molly, and then who was behind Molly? Hannah, I guess, was the next.
Yeah. So Hannah was a year younger. So that was, Hannah was a year younger, and she also had, I'm trying to think who else was in that class. That was Lindsay Bailey. She went on to play at SBU. Hannah went on to play at Drury. I think those were the only 2 out of that class that went on to play collegiately. But
my gosh, the practices back then had to be phenomenal.
My favorite story to tell about Molly is we're in the middle of practice, and Molly and Hannah would get into it from time to time in practice because they're sisters. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And at one point, Hannah decides to get the ball out to bring it up, and Molly just stands there at the free throw line and says, "Hannah, give me the ball." And Hannah goes, "No, it's my turn." And as soon as that happens, the ball just kind of stopped dribbling, and they both go at each other like they're about to just go at it. And Coach Phillips just blows her whistle and says, "Get out. Just get out of my gym. Go figure it out, and don't come back in until you got it figured out." And so, we all literally just kind of stood there and thought, "Oh, is this going to happen right now?" But that just showed how competitive it was. It was every single day. Coach Phillips would make the goals that we had to reach so unrealistic, and how many points we had to score against the JV or whatever we had to do to make it as hard as possible. And then if we didn't, we ran. I was in the best shape of my life.
Well, and you were the blue collar player for those teams. I mean, Molly'd shoot it, and Greta'd shoot it, and Heather would shoot it.
I didn't want to shoot it.
Yeah, Heather never missed it, so you didn't get any rebounds. But your job was garbage lady, right? Pick it up, get it back in.
That's what I tell my kids all the time. I said, I got a scholarship playing defense, setting rebounds, and doing my role and doing my job. It is possible.
Were you're probably too young when the Jenny Anderson, Casey Pittman, Aaron Jones, that group came through.
I went and watched them. I remember going and watching that group quite a bit. And I remember Jenny, when she went and coached collegiately for a while, correct? After high school?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember kind of somehow being in touch with her a little bit. I think she's out of it now, but I do remember that group because Coach Pittman, he was also my teacher at Kickapoo.
Yeah. And, before that, you got the Rhonda Hubbards and Carissa McCarters and the Spears and just, the expectation there is just crazy. But what I look at too is look at how many coaches that whole program has turned out, and successful coaches. I mean, you're 77-6. Molly's killing it at Arizona State after killing it at Grand Canyon before that.
Killing it at
Heather's a Division I head coach. Hannah Hayden, I think, she's at Georgia Southern, maybe.
Yep, that's a D. Yeah, she's at a mid-major D1.
Yeah. I mean, when did you figure out, hey, I kind of want to do this coaching thing too?
So this is crazy. My parents still bring this up all the time. So I had gone on to SBU to play basketball at SBU. And then around the second year, I just wasn't having the greatest year, was ready just to kind of move on, and thought, I'm going to go into nursing school. So I applied for nursing school, got accepted into nursing school, and was about to start. And then that's when Coach Phillips got her diagnosis. And so she called me and Greta. Greta had also had so many injuries that she medically retired from jury, and just said, hey, I'm going to need some extra help in terms of just basically being like an assistant to her while she was going through her treatments. So she said, would you guys be willing to come back and just be with me during season and do whatever I need you to do? And of course we said yes. I mean, whatever she needed. And then that decision changed the entire trajectory of my entire life. Fell in love with it.
Otherwise, what were you thinking?
Going to be a nurse. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
No, thanks.
Yeah. And so, and then it was, I'm going to sit here and I love what I'm doing, and I'm going to wait and see what happens. And it happened. Yeah.
And she told me, you're not going to make any money, but you're going to have your summers off, and you're going to get Christmas break. You'll get a Thanksgiving break, and you'll get to be around some of the coolest kids you'll meet and see them just mature and grow over the 4 years. And that alone will be more rewarding than any money you can make.
Do you stay in touch with some of those former teammates of yours?
I've actually, Kaylee, her daughter is a freshman this year for our team. So I'm her daughter's coach. So Kaylee's at all the games. She's on the wall, our Hall of Fame wall. Stay in touch with Greta. We're in a group chat with Greta, me, Holly, and Kaylee. Still keep in touch with Heather. Try to keep in touch with Heather. She's so busy. When Molly comes into town, I haven't seen Molly in a really long time, but every now and then when we had that 20-year reunion, where we all met, I got to see Hannah. I got to see Lindsay. But yeah, we all keep in touch. I was in Kaylee's wedding. She was in mine. That's pretty cool.
What is the number one thing, if you had to hang your hat on one staple of your program, that may be different than anybody else, or that you've picked up from the others, what would it be?
I would say we play a lot of music. Coach Phillips never played music. She liked it to be, being able to listen and pay attention and not be able to tune out. But this day and age, kids love to have music on. I feel like when we have music going on in shooting drills or whatnot, it just kind of gets them into a flow a lot easier. They're a lot more relaxed. We still run a lot, just like we did with Coach Phillips. A lot of the things that she did with us, we still do. But I think just in terms of just kind of being a little bit looser in terms of letting them be themselves, because that's important. They're got to let their personalities shine. And then for that happen, if they're more comfortable with us and they trust us, then they're gonna play harder for us.
I think, one thing I noticed watching the game last night is you're the first one out to greet them during the timeout. How important is that to you to keep them pumped up? And when things may be going south over a little period of the game, you're out there telling them, "Hey, it's okay, let's go." That type of deal. Did you do that as a JV coach, or?
I think it's just that's kind of how I was as a player, because my role was to make sure everybody was even Steven in terms of not too high and not too low. I wasn't a scorer. I wasn't, this prolific player that everybody knew about, but everybody knew that they could count on me in terms of my emotional stability, I guess. I think of just knowing that it's okay no matter what happens on a timeout, that they see that I'm not too flustered or that our coaching staff's not too flustered and that everything's going to be okay. That kind of helps set the tone for the whole timeout. So they're not too upset or getting their heads down or thinking too far ahead in the game.
Where did your love for basketball originally start? At what age, and who helped get that going?
My brother. My brother was a diehard Michael Jordan fan. He had all the Wheaties boxes. We went and watched the Bulls as a kid. We watched Charles Barkley. I mean, we were always watching the NBA growing up, and I always wanted to be like my big brother. So that kind of started with him. That's how my love for KU started. My dad hates it. He loves Mizzou, but my brother and I and my mom, we are diehard KU fans. So it just all started with him wanting to be like my big brother.
Had a nice win last night in that regard. KU did. While you were trying to tough out a win at home, they were doing the same thing up there. Yeah.
I had a few texts from my phone saying this game, and I'm thinking, what game are we talking about? My game, or are you talking about the KU game? Just because that team they're pretty good.
Tell us about your family.
Yep. So I've got 3 kiddos. I've got identical twin daughters that are 5 years old, and then I have an 8-year-old. And they're all 3 playing basketball. I made the terrible decision to coach the twins basketball team. I feel like at times it's harder than coaching 6A basketball because there's at least 3 crying at any point.
Yeah.
The questions that get asked and the things that get said are just, I could probably write a book. But it's fun. They love basketball. And then my 8-year-old is playing for Coach McHenry. His daughter, he has a 3rd grader and a 2nd grader. So they're all on the same team, and kind of seeing them play together and him be over there being Mr. Calm, cool, and collected all the time is fun to watch.
Drives you nuts, doesn't it, a little bit? Because you're just a notch below Chris Flood, in terms of sideline excitement and antics when he was at Republic. But Mitch, very, very calm, and I love it. He's got that note card. I just want to see the note card.
No, it's like audibles. He calls audibles like he's a quarterback, and the guys know exactly what he's saying, and it makes all sense to them. It's their own language, their own vocabulary. I told Mitch, I said, I need to make a bracelet that says WWMD. What would Mitch do? So that during games I can just look at it and see, because I don't know how he does it.
Well, and he's developing a reputation as one of the best tacticians around, with his, we've had coaches come on the radio saying he's one of the hardest guys they ever have to prepare for, because you don't know what to expect from that game. You guys talk shop quite a bit?
He's been a really good mentor for me when I've had questions and I just kind of at a loss of what to do. He always has the answer. I mean, I always tell him, bill me by the hour and make sure you send me my bill. Cause it's just such a great all around guy and always keeps it, never gets too high, never gets too low. And is just very matter of fact. And has been a really good resource. Can't say enough good things about him.
Does this team resemble your last 2 in any way, or is this one different than the last 2? Of course, you had Michaela as the go-to for 2 years, really, there, I think. And how about this one?
I think this one's different in terms we've got 4 kids right now that are averaging double figures, and then we've got so many more that could go off at any given point. Like last night, Ari Warren, she had transferred to us from Glendale. She was their sharpshooter for them. I mean, she was their best player on their team, and she had kind of been in a slump since being able to play, and she came out and hit back-to-back threes for us, and that alone projected the momentum kind of shifted after that. So we've got so many different kids that could do something on any given night. Our speed, we're the fastest that we've been in the 3 years that I've done this. At times it kills us because we're just so out of control that the ball we forget to take the ball with us. But I think this team's different in terms of we've got so many that can do it, and they get along really well. This group, a lot of them play AAU together. Not saying that the other 2 groups haven't, but this group, they're so goofy all the time, which always helps carry over onto the floor, that chemistry.
So, you waited for this opportunity. You're killing it now. Do we call Leslie Hanchey a lifer at Kickapoo, or what if one of these, small college basketball head coaching jobs opens up, or even something bigger? Will you listen, or are you a lady chief for life?
I'm a lady chief for life.
Tell them just not even bother calling, right?
Don't even bother. Go to the next person. I'm right where I need to be.
Very good. Well, Leslie, we always have fun talking to you, and love the way you handle your teams. And I'm sure the fans love the way you handle the scoreboard with the W's there. So keep it up. And maybe this is a year Incarnate Word goes down.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you. I always love getting on here and talking to you. So thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. Appreciate it. Leslie Hanchey, the head coach of the Kickapoo Lady Chiefs, again, 19-0 as of this taping, ranked number 2 in the state in Class 6, and just done a remarkable job. 30-2 her first year, 28-4 last year, and then 19-0 this year for that 77-6 record. And if you watched her play, you knew she was going to be successful. And if you look at the people she play around, it's all they do is win. When they play, I know it's an old jury slogan, but they do it very well at Kickapoo, and that's where they learned it from some great coaches, from Schubel to Stephanie Phillips, to Coach Pendergrass on that, right up to Leslie Hanchey there. Well, big thank you to our sponsors. We want to thank Thompson Sales, located at 1555 East Independence in South Springfield. They've been in the car business since 1990, and they are your home for the largest selection of Cadillacs, Buicks, and GMC cars and trucks, new and used. And they got a great service department to take care of your vehicle after the sale. They're going to treat you like family at Thompson's. It's what they've been doing since 1919. That's why I buy my cars there, because when you walk in, it's like you're talking to a family member. They make sure you're satisfied and getting the best deal you can at Thompson Sales. Also, big thanks to Colton Steakhouse of Springfield, just down the street from Thompson's at 2020 East Independence. We always joke, go buy a car and then go celebrate at Colton's with a great steak or a barbecue, or their burgers are awesome. You got the hot rolls, the fresh peanuts. It's a treat going to Colton Steakhouse, and you're going to enjoy it. Go see the folks at Colton's. Tell Thomas Orr, the owner, we said hello, and enjoy a great lunch or dinner at Colton's. And then finally, Deadeye Gun in Sparta. They're on board with us now, and want to thank Jonathan and the folks at Deadeye. They're at 7483 Main Street in Sparta. Can't miss it, right there on the main drag. Visit their website, deadeyegunsupply.com. Check out their great selection, whether it's rifles, pistols, ammunition, all the supplies you need for your hunting and target practice needs. They've got it at Deadeye Gun in Sparta. That's going to do it for this edition. Again, thanks to Leslie Hanchey for her time. Thanks to you for listening, and we will see you next week on Around the Ozarks Sports Scene.